Welcome to our deep dive, into Eden Park, New Zealand.
Eden Park.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
exactly.
sure most folks are familiar with it, but we're going to go kind of behind the scenes today,
Yeah.
explore how it functions, as a business and a community hub and all that good stuff. And our source today is the social media posts from Nick Sautner.
Oh, cool.
He's the CEO of Eden Park.
Awesome.
And I thought it was really cool, getting an insider's perspective on how they run things. And
Yeah.
one thing I thought was interesting right off the bat, did you know that Eden Park hosted the first ever country music concert in a New Zealand stadium?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
So that's later on in the deep dive. But
All right.
yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a good one.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
Well, just from the, the initial look at Sautner's post,
Yeah.
he clearly sees Eden Park as much more than just a place to watch sports.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, he positions it as, a vital asset for the local community in Auckland, but also for New Zealand as a whole.
Yeah, he even adopted the title of honorary New Zealander.
That's great.
He talks about, bringing the stadium to life.
Right.
And what I really liked is he's backed that up with a major shift in strategy.
Yeah.
Sautner says that 70% of their revenue in 2023 came from things they weren't even doing 5 years ago.
That's amazing.
I know.
To achieve that kind of diversification, they must have had to have a very adaptable approach.
Absolutely. He even mentioned going from hosting an international cricket match to a Luke Combs concert in just a few days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a transformation.
Right.
That's prime example of how they become such an economic powerhouse.
Yeah.
And that kind of adaptability isn't just about survival, right? It's about staying relevant and exciting for a wider range of people.
For sure, for sure. And it's speaking of economic impact, Sautner frequently emphasizes the positive effects that Eden Park has on tourism,
Sure.
Job creation revenue for local businesses.
Yeah, he's not the only one highlighting those benefits.
Right.
Remember when Prime Minister Luxon actually called for more concerts at Eden Park?
Oh, yeah.
And pointed out that Kiwis are heading over to Australia to see shows because there aren't enough options at home.
Yeah.
He even mentioned overcoming what he called a culture of saying no. I wonder if he was referencing a hesitancy towards change or a fear of large-scale events.
That's a really interesting point. I know some folks are worried about noise and traffic when there are big events.
Sure.
But wouldn't those same events bring in, money into the local economy and create jobs?
Yeah, exactly. It's a very complex issue
Right.
with potential benefits and downsides. What's crucial is that Eden Park takes both sides into account as they continue to grow.
Yeah.
It seems like striking that balance is something they're trying to do, especially when it comes to creating a welcoming atmosphere for everyone.
Yes, inclusivity is very important to Sautner and his team. That story he shared about 5-year-old Houston who has ASD and his first concert experience at Eden Park was really heartwarming.
It was, and it wasn't just a feel-good story. It showed real action.
Yeah.
They went above and beyond to make sure Houston was comfortable providing mobility parking access to a sensory room, even a dedicated quiet space for him.
That's incredible. They really thought of everything to make the experience enjoyable for him and his family.
Yeah.
Shows a real commitment to accessibility that goes beyond just checking boxes.
Absolutely. Creating spaces and experiences that everyone can enjoy regardless of their needs should be the standard.
Right.
What Eden Park is doing here is a wonderful model for other venues to follow.
Speaking of making the stadium accessible to more people, Sautner's posts about that whole concert controversy were really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think he was trying to get ahead of potential criticism by being so transparent about the process?
It's certainly possible. Remember, there were limits on how many concerts they could hold?
Yeah.
And it seems like there was some pushback from the community.
Mm-hmm.
Some residents were probably worried about noise and disruption, which is understandable.
I get that, for sure. But ultimately, they were able to increase the number of concerts to 12 a year.
Right.
That's a pretty big win.
It is.
And from what Sautner shared about their ranking in Pollstar's worldwide stadium rankings,
Okay.
25th for ticket sales and 34th for gross sales, it seems like it's paying off.
That's right. And it suggests that their strategy of diversifying their offerings is working, at least from a business perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reminder that these large-scale events like concerts can have a ripple effect on the economy, and that managing those impacts carefully is crucial.
And it looks like they're not slowing down. Sautner mentions hosting huge names like Coldplay, P&K, even Travis Scott.
Not to mention Luke Combs, who, as we said, was the first country artist to headline a stadium concert in New Zealand.
Right.
It seems like they're aiming to attract a diverse range of fans and create a wide array of experiences.
That's really cool. It goes back to Sotner's idea of bringing the stadium to life. I'm curious to know what specific things he did to achieve that.
Well, one thing that stands out is his focus on community engagement.
Okay.
He talks about initiatives like the Neighborhood Supporters Club and efforts to make the stadium more welcoming and inclusive for everyone.
And it's not just about, big name concerts and international sporting events.
Right.
He also expresses how thrilled he was to see the Blues, both the women's and men's teams,
Yeah,
win their Super Rugby Pacific titles at Eden Park.
that's a great point. It shows that he values local events and achievements just as much as the big splashy international ones.
Right.
He's tapping into that local pride and using Eden Park to bring people together around shared passions.
Okay, so we've seen how Eden Park operates, the impact they're having, the partnerships that make it all possible. But what does the future hold?
Yeah.
Sotner drops some hints about their plans, right?
He does. He mentions ambitious plans for expansion and upgrades, but also stresses that it's not just about building bigger and better. It's about ensuring those changes benefit everyone and stay true to Eden Park's core values.
So they're not just thinking about the next few years. They're thinking about the long-term legacy of Eden Park.
Exactly, and that brings us to a fascinating point. In one of his posts, Sotner mentions that 70% of their attendance in 2023 came from events that weren't even part of their business model 5 years ago.
Wow.
That's a remarkable statistic.
It is. What does that tell us about their approach?
It shows an incredible ability to adapt, innovate, and respond to changing trends.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid to try new things, and they're constantly seeking ways to expand their offerings and reach new audiences.
That kind of forward thinking is crucial in today's rapidly changing world.
Absolutely.
But with all these changes and ambivalence, it's important to stay grounded in what makes Eden Park special.
Absolutely, and that's what Sotner seems to do so well.
Right.
He balances big dreams with a deep appreciation for the history and community that make Eden Park such an iconic venue.
Well, after this deep dive, I'm even more impressed by Eden Park than I was before.
Me too.
They're clearly doing amazing things both on and off the field.
I agree, and I think there's a valuable lesson here for all of us.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the power of shared experiences, the importance of community engagement, and the need to constantly adapt and evolve to stay relevant.
Well said. But before we wrap up, we need to tackle one last question that Sotner poses in his posts.
Okay.
It's a thought-provoking one that gets to the heart of what Eden Park is all about. We'll dive into that after we address something else. Sotner talked about the importance of strategic partnerships.
Right.
Let's take a closer look at some of these collaborations and how they contribute to Eden Park's success.
Sounds good.
All right. Yeah, you're right. The partnerships are a crucial element we haven't explored yet, and Sotner frequently mentions how these strategic partnerships play a major role in their success.
Yeah, and they seem to have a diverse range of partners from, well-known brands to more specialized companies.
Yeah, for example, he talks about their long-standing partnership with Coca-Cola.
Uh-huh.
That one goes back to 2016, right?
Yeah, it seems to have grown over time. They've launched initiatives like the Powerade G9 event and even collaborated on a recycling initiative during the FIFA Women's World Cup.
I like that they're using these partnerships to promote sustainability. It shows a commitment that goes beyond just profit margins.
For sure, it indicates a more holistic approach to business and community engagement. And speaking of interesting partnerships, the one with Wet and Forget caught my attention.
Okay, I have to admit I'm not familiar with them. What do they do?
They provide cleaning products, maybe not the most glamorous partner, but think about it for a venue the size of Eden Park.
Right.
Keeping everything clean and well-maintained is essential.
That's so true. I hadn't considered that angle. With 50,000 seats plus all the other areas, they must go through gallons of cleaning supplies.
Exactly. Sotner mentions that their turf facilities and cleaning teams rely on Wet and Forget products daily. It highlights the importance of those sometimes overlooked aspects of running a successful venue.
It also makes me think about the sheer scale of operations at Eden Park. It's easy to focus on the big events, but there's so much happening behind the scenes to make it all run smoothly.
Yeah, and partnerships like this one with Wet and Forget are key to ensuring that everything operates at a world-class level. Plus, it's another example of how they're thinking about sustainability in a practical way.
It's like every detail is carefully considered. And speaking of supporting local, Sotner also highlights his partnership with Gilmore's, a wholesale food and beverage supplier.
Right, he emphasizes the idea of local supporting local, which resonates with their commitment to the community. By partnering with local businesses, they're ensuring that the benefits of Eden Park's success are shared within the community.
That's fantastic. It creates a much stronger connection between the stadium and its surroundings.
It's a smart strategy that strengthens their position within the community while also boosting the local economy. But of course, not every decision they make will be universally popular.
Right.
Remember that concert controversy we touched on earlier?
Oh, yeah, that was a big one. It seems like there was some tension between the desire to host more concerts for economic benefits, and the concerns of some residents about potential disruptions.
Exactly. It's a classic example of the challenges faced by any large venue or event space that's embedded within a residential area. Striking that balance between economic growth and community well-being is always a delicate act.
Yeah, it sounds like finding that balance is something Eden Park is actively working on.
Hmm.
They ended up increasing the number of concerts to 12 per year, which is still a significant increase. And from Sautner's post, it seems like they're not shying away from attracting big-name acts.
You're right. He mentions Coldplay selling out 3 concerts, P&K's Summer Carnival concerts, and even Travis Scott's Surface Maximus tour.
Wow.
It's clear they're aiming for a diverse range of events to appeal to a wide audience.
And let's not forget Luke Combs, who made history as the first country artist to headline a stadium concert in New Zealand.
It's amazing how Eden Park is constantly pushing boundaries and bringing new experiences to the community.
Yeah, it's a testament to their ambition and their understanding of what audiences want, and they're not just focused on international acts.
Right?
They're also champions of local talent like the Blues, who won their Super Rugby Pacific titles at Eden Park.
That's a great point. Sautner seems genuinely thrilled about those local victories. It reinforces the idea that they're not just about big profits and global recognition.
Uh-huh.
They're about creating a space where the community can come together and celebrate.
That's what makes Eden Park so special. It's a venue with global reach, but with a strong local heartbeat.
You've put it perfectly. It's that blend of local and global ambition and community that makes them such a fascinating case study.
Well, we've explored how Eden Park operates, the impact they're having, and the partnerships that are fueling their success. Now, let's circle back to that thought-provoking question Sautner poses in his post about potential new events. Remember, he asks, if you could propose one new type of event for Eden Park to host, what would it be and why?
Yeah.
It's a question that really gets to the heart of what this venue is all about.
It does. It challenges us to think beyond the existing framework and envision new possibilities for the future of Eden Park.
All right, ready to dive into that question?
Absolutely. Let's see what creative ideas we can come up with.
All right, so Sautner's question, if you could propose one new type of event for Eden Park to host, what would it be and why?
It's a tough one.
It is, because it makes you think outside the box.
It really does.
You know,
What kind of event would resonate with the community, push creative boundaries, and maybe even leave a lasting impact?
yeah, and what comes to mind for you?
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking about all the things they've already done.
Right.
You know, the concerts, the sporting events, the festivals.
Yeah.
What could they do that would be truly unique and memorable?
Well, remember how Sautner mentioned they hosted a world record attempt for the largest haka?
Oh, yeah.
What if they took that idea and created a global celebration of indigenous cultures?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
You know,
Eden Park could be a platform for showcasing indigenous traditions from all over the world.
right.
We could see performances, art exhibits, cultural exchanges, storytelling. It
Exactly.
would be such a vibrant and inspiring event.
And it would align perfectly with their commitment to inclusivity and community engagement.
Absolutely.
Plus, think of the educational value,
Oh, yeah.
exposing people to cultures they might not otherwise encounter and promoting understanding and appreciation.
It's a brilliant idea, and it taps into Eden Park's ability to bring people together.
Yeah.
It's not just about entertainment. It's about fostering connection and celebrating diversity on a global scale.
I love it. I'm getting really excited about this. Imagine the buzz, the energy, the learning that could happen at an event like that.
It would be something truly special.
Yeah, and it's exactly the kind of forward-thinking, impactful event that Sautner seems to be striving for. He's not just filling a calendar.
Right?
He's trying to make a difference.
He is.
Okay, after this deep dive, I'm blown away by what Eden Park is accomplishing.
Me too.
It's more than just a stadium. It's a symbol of ambition, community, and the power of shared experiences.
Couldn't have said it better myself. They've managed to blend local pride with global reach, and they're constantly evolving while staying true to their core values.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable achievement.
Well, thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey into the world of Eden Park. We hope you're leaving with a newfound appreciation for this incredible venue and all that it represents.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe we'll see some of our own event ideas come to life on that iconic field someday.
It could happen.
We can only hope. Be sure to check out Eden Park's website or social media to see what's coming up next. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.